Hello, hello. This is the second podcast. How exciting. I don't know if I'll keep saying how many podcasts I've done as I keep going with this because hopefully I'll start getting so good and maybe I'll have a introduction actually instead of just saying hello, hello and then telling you what number podcast we're but I am right now in my yoga teacher training. I just am going through some of the different asanas. So on my YouTube channel, I'm creating asana foundation videos, which that is like, so going through each single pose and basically just giving you the rundown of each pose so that um, when I actually have the other practices and stuff, it sometimes is difficult to go through and tell you every single instruction or different tip moving through the different poses. And so I'm hoping with the foundations that that's something where if you're ever like watching one of the videos and you're finding that maybe that pose is a little challenging for you or you want to dive a little bit deeper or go in towards the next step a little bit, you can go watch the foundations pose so that you can figure out how to actually do different modifications with the poses and make sure that you're doing the full pose correctly. And so just a way to deepen your own personal practice, and then also the different cues and stuff. I give you a lot more cues with the foundations video since we're just focusing in on the one video at a time. And so what I think is really useful with the foundations videos is after you watch the video, you start to have the different cues of the pose in your head. So for example, like as you're moving through downward facing dog, there's so many different cues that can be said during the downward facing dog that I most likely won't get to all of them during each single practice that we have where the downward facing dog is incorporated in it. So when you watch the asana video on your own, you'll start to have those cues memorized in your own brain, and you'll start to be able to do the different cues on your own a little bit more. Incorporating more of your inner teacher into the yoga practices as you continue. Oh, I got a little bug here. As you continue with your yoga videos, okay? So with today's podcast, we're actually going to be talking about different bandhas. So there's 5 bandhas of yoga, and the bandhas are just believed to be locks and are used to help control energy in the body. So in ancient Sanskrit, the word bandha actually means to tighten or to lock. And so it's important to understand the different locks or the different bandhas for yoga because as you're moving, if you can start to imagine the different bandhas moving through your body as you move through the different poses and different flows of yoga, you'll start to be able to have a deeper understanding of each pose, a deeper understanding of the shape and alignment of your body, but not only just that, like the feeling of your body, and a deeper energetic lift in your body as well. Bandhas are they help to increase with your blood flow and promoting detoxification in the body. And then also, bandhas help to relieve tension and stress in the body. So I love bandha. I love imagining a bandha that has a back bend in it. So if you can imagine maybe like cow pose or something, or not cow, not cow pose, camel pose, for example. With camel pose, if we start to use our bandha with camel pose, that helps to lift us energetically from the ground, which will help to open our chest up a little bit higher towards the sky. And so you're starting to feel more of an energetic practice, which helps to increase the stretch in our spine for that pose. And so that's why it's really important to start to understand the different bandhas that we have in yoga, and we can start to incorporate them into our practice a little bit more here. So let's go ahead and talk about the 5 different bandhas. Our first bandha is going to be a hasta bandha, or hand lock. So the hasta bandha is believed to actually draw up energy from the palms of the hand, and it's believed to help support and energize your arms and shoulders in any weight-bearing poses. So for like downward facing dog, or maybe tabletop pose, or cat cow pose, something like that, chaturanga. Those are poses to be very mindful of the hasta bandha, or the hand lock. So when you're practicing any of these poses, or wanting to practice your hasta or hand lock, what you'll do is you can practice this in tabletop position, and then you want to keep your shoulders and your wrists in line. And you want to spread your fingertips nice and wide here, and allow your spine actually to remain nice and lengthened here, keeping a full awareness of your overall body. I know that we're focusing just on our hand lock here, but I really want you to still stay very mindful of the rest of your body. So lengthening throughout your spine as well. And then you want to press evenly through all 10 fingertips, palms, and your wrist as well here. And you'll start to feel energy rising from the palms, from the earth in through the palms. And then that energy from your palms is going to start to lift and rise through your arms and your shoulders. And you'll start to, that energy that's radiating upwards will help keep your chest nice and lifted, and keeping your back nice and strong there as well. And help you. So for example, like in a cat pose, that energy from this hand lock or the hasta bandha will help to lift you up and keep a nice broadness in your back body. So this is the hasta bandha, or the hand lock. The next bandha is the pada bandha, or the foot lock. This has to be like my favorite favorite bandha. I tell people this bandha all the time, and I guess I never even call it a bandha, but it is, because it's we're thinking about the energy rising from our feet as we're moving through our day. So walking, standing, whatever it is, doing different poses and stuff, we just want to make sure that the energy is helping to lift us, because when we can incorporate the different energy into our poses, we're not putting as much pressure into those different, the limbs and stuff of our body, so, or the joints and stuff. So for example, with pada bandha, that energy is helping to lift me, so I'm keeping my knee joints not from caving in, and keeping a lot of pressure out of there. So the pada bandha is used to draw energy up from the soles of the feet, from the earth. And you could do this pose in standing pose, or starting in standing pose, and then I always tell people, so there's 4 corners of your feet, and the 4 corners of your feet are the ball of your big toe and your pinky toe, and then the two sides of the heels. And you want to make sure that you're pressing into all four corners. So I almost even imagine like this rectangle. So from here, here, and here. So from the four corners of your feet, almost like this rectangle shape. And I'm pressing evenly into all four corners of my feet. And then from there, I start to notice a rise in the arches of my feet. And if you need to feel a bigger lift, you can always lift your toes and you'll feel an even bigger arching in your feet, especially that big arch there, that inner arch. And so people who have a lot of knee pain, ankle pain, who have very low arches, this is such an awesome bandha to just practice daily. Because the more we practice, the easier it is to have this bandha with us throughout the day, even when we're not thinking about it. And so this bandha, when we start to incorporate it, the energy enters through the soles of our feet and helps to lift us up. So traveling up from the soles of the feet through the ankles, the calves, the knee, the hips, lifting us up and really keeping us nice and long as we pull up towards the sky through the crown of our head. So the next three bandhas are the Mula Bandha, the Jalandhara Bandha, and then the Uddiyana Bandha. And the three of these bandhas can actually be put together to make up the Mahabandha. So if you ever hear Mahabandha, it's a combination of the Mula Bandha, the Uddiyana Bandha, and the Jalandhara Bandha. Sorry, I messed that up. Okay, so we'll start with the Mula Bandha. The Mula Bandha is believed to bring energy up from our pelvic area here, and it can be a similar feeling to a Kegel exercise, for example, and those are just the same muscles that we're using to pull that energy up. So I like to sit in easy pose when I practice my Mula Bandha here, and really sit my sit bones into the earth there, and really feel them grounded in towards the earth. And from there, I practice my Kegel exercises, and I squeeze those muscles, and I feel. I like to close my eyes and actually imagine like this cultivation of this circling of energy right in the pelvic floor there. So starting in the base of the spine, and kind of just circulating in the pelvic area, squeezing my muscles around this energy here. And from the ground, that energy starts to accumulate more and more in my pelvic area, and then it lifts. So from my spine, I imagine that this cultivation of energy starts to slowly rise up my spine and helps to keep me lifted nice and tall. So starting from the sit bones and that pelvic area, and I lift nice and tall from there. Practicing this bandha on a regular basis for me is awesome because I'm always sitting on the floor, or even when you're sitting in a chair at your desk. If you're somebody who works at a desk all day long, then this is a really awesome bandha to practice, just because if you can start to lift and raise from your Mula Bandha, you're taking a lot of pressure out of the spine and allowing that energy to help lift you versus cranking up kind of all the time. So yes, that is the Mula Bandha. And the next bandha, we'll do the Jalandhara bandha. This is also the throat lock. So the Mula bandha is also known as the root lock, and then the Jalandhara bandha is also known as the throat lock. So Jalandhara bandha stimulates a lot of energy from the chest and the throat area. And this bandha helps to protect your neck during a supine yoga pose. So like when your chin is slightly tucked into your chest there. It creates length and space in the neck area to help relieve any tension in the neck and spine as you move some of the different poses. The Jalandhara bandha also helps to draw energy into the chest and may be used during like a breathing exercise with pranayama or something like that. If we can use Jalandhara bandha or the throat lock, then we can draw energy from our chest to help broaden our chest and lift up from the chest there. So with this, we can start in bridge pose, and you can draw your chin in towards your chest here. So if you don't know how to get into bridge pose, you can always watch the foundations video for how to practice bridge pose. But this is a really great pose to use to practice this throat lock. So go ahead and come into bridge pose, and you can draw the chin slightly in towards your chest, and then lift your chest towards your chin as you peel the hips up off the ground. And you'll start to feel energy actually radiating downwards into your chest area as you lift the chest open. So same thing, it's starting from the base of the spine. I'm sorry, not the base of the spine, from the neck area there. And then so cultivating from the earth and lifting our spine up, so traveling upwards from our spine up towards our navel area there. And this energy activation starts to, like I said, open up the chest and help you deepen into a pose like bridge pose. And the last bandha is the Uddiyana bandha, or core lock pose. And this pose is, or this bandha or core lock is really great to practice daily as well, just because this is working on our core, and we need to have that core for so many different yoga poses. But not only that, so somebody who has a lot of back pain or back tension, a lot of hip problems, a lot of that can stem from not engaging through the core as we move throughout daily activities and things like that. So just something even really simple is we all brush our teeth every single day, or we should be. And when we bend over the sink, we don't always engage the core muscles there. And so daily, if we're just kind of always rounding through the spine and not really engaging through the core as we do that, that can be one of the reasons that we start to have some of the back pains that people start to develop. And so practicing Uddiyana bandha regularly can help to just protect your back from having any pain, and then starting to have that bandha in your daily movements without so much conscious awareness. And one of the ways that you can practice this bandha is to come into your boat pose. And this pose, you can also find it in the foundations video as well. And what you'll do is you actually So starting in boat pose, you can notice the energy rising from the base of the spine here. So coming up from the earth and then the base of your spine. And if this helps you to kind of imagine that ball of energy really rising from the base of your spine, you can imagine that if it's helpful. But you'll draw your belly in towards your spine and then activate your core. And the energy starts from the base of the spine and then raises up from your core, up through past your navel and then your low rib cage and your chest, and rises upwards there to help keep you nice and lifted. And that is Uddiyana Bandha. So those are the different, the 5 different bandhas that we have in yoga, and not only just for yoga, but we could really use those to incorporate them into our daily movements of life. And so, yes. Well, thanks for listening to the second podcast, and I can't wait to see what comes next. All right. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day.